He's more than an athlete. He's an artist.
I think you're in love, Ron.
Shut up.
Lecter, I love you. Lecter, I do.
When we're apart, my heart beats only.
Harry Potter!
Hey, my eyes aren't glistening with the ghost of my past.
I'm not an owl.
Technically, it's a fact.
Ah, c'est magnifique.
Kill the stag.
Avada Marty Crouch!
Behaving like a babbling, bumbling band of baboons.
Junior.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for listening to Retold, the podcast where I retell you my favorite story of all time, Harry Potter. And this week, we are covering chapters 19 and 20 of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. But I never take this journey alone. I always have with me some very special guests. And with me this week, I have the one, the only, Monica. Also known as, hi, Monica. Also known as Mischief by Monica. Ooh. Monica, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Monica. I am part of Gryffindor, and I'm a Harry Potter content creator. I'm excited to be on here, and I just love Harry Potter.
Very cool. And so, as I mentioned before, you have this this other name, Mischief by Monica, for your social medias. Do you mind telling us a little bit about that?
So it's basically like a play on Mischief Manage that we know of. Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite movie, and so I just wanted to kind of include that in my title along with the name. And I was like going back and forth if I wanted to include like magic in it, but I felt like Mischief kind of has like that magical tone in it. So I was like, okay, Mischief by Monica. And it's just like all of the magical adventures I go on and just anything that I'm mostly posting about like magical fandoms and everything. So yeah.
Very cool. And I see you on Instagram. Is it just on Instagram or are you on anything else?
I'm on TikTok as well, but pretty much like the things that I post on Instagram are on TikTok too. So it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
Well, check that out, listeners. It's a very cool page. I enjoy her content. I wouldn't have invited her on here, listeners, if it wasn't good. All right. So check that out. I enjoy, like right now, I'm looking at, if you're on the YouTube, you can see this, listeners. But like right now, her background, she's got the whole House of Black wallpaper, a cool clock. It's creeping over a little bit over, I think, your right shoulder. But is that a Bertie Bott's pillow?
Yeah. Let me show it. It's actually, my blanket fell, but it's actually from Japan.
That's so big. Oh my goodness.
It's cool. And it has like a little bit of the beans in there.
Yeah, I used to have this bit where, wait, so you said it's from Japan. Did you order it or go over there?
We went over there. So a lot of my
I hate you.
content too.
I'm so jealous.
A lot of my content too is like kind of following like Harry Potter filming locations or the theme parks. So this one was in Universal Studios Japan, and of course we went there because the merch there is insane. It's like really, yeah, it's really cool.
That's so cool. I know they have that cool store. I always see pictures, people taking pictures on those steps that they have with the giant it's like time turner. One of my friends went recently. She's actually been on this podcast a few times. Emily, if listeners remember her, but she gave me like apparently in Japan, what she told me, and I didn't know this, ignorant American here, that in Japan, they don't have like paper towels in the bathrooms. You have hand towels that you carry with you. And she bought me like a little Harry Potter hand towel. So,
that's so cool. Yeah, they do have a lot of those.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Well, so that's your Instagram listener and TikTok listeners. Please check that out. And you mentioned a little bit of your fandom ID, which is, every time I have a new guest on, I ask them what their fandom ID is, which is their house, favorite book, favorite movie, and how they got into Harry Potter. You said you were a Gryffindor. I can't remember, was it your favorite book or movie was Prisoner?
So my favorite movie is Prisoner of Azkaban, but so growing up, my favorite book was Order of the Phoenix, but like on my reread of everything, there's just something about Prisoner of Azkaban. So that's currently my favorite book right now too.
I get it. And it changes. It changes over time.
Yeah,
So
for
very
sure.
cool. And how did you get into Harry Potter?
So I specifically remember it was like in 2001. It was like a Tuesday, and my aunt had asked me and my sister if we wanted to go watch this movie called Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And I just remember like being in the theater, and I was 7 years old when it came out. So this was like literally, yeah, crazy 25 years ago because this year is the 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were in the theater. I just remember loving it so much, and ever since then, like we would always make it a thing to go to like the midnight premieres every year after that. So I really felt like I grew up with the series ever since. I really became a fan of the movies first, and then of course along the way the books as well. So we would go to the midnight movie releases and the book releases too. And yeah, I just feel like my life changed ever since a random Tuesday in November 2001. I was like,
Yeah, that's
I'm
impressive that you remember it's Tuesday.
yeah, I was like, it was a school night, and yeah, it's just so crazy. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be
Not
my
a school
personality
night.
on a school night. Yeah, but yeah, ever since then, it's been a huge part of my life. Pretty much ever since then. I even had like a Harry Potter inspired wedding, and all my tattoos are
Very
Harry
cool.
Potter. I have 2 dogs named after 2 Harry Potter characters. Yeah.
What are their names?
My one of my girl, I have 4 dogs by the way, but one of them is named Minerva, and
Nice.
after McGonagall, and then another one is named Malfoy.
What kind of dogs are they?
One is or 2 of them are Shiba Inus, and then 2 of them are Akita Inus. So they're all Japanese dog breeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's
Uh-huh.
awesome.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for sharing all that with us. And now we're going to be moving on to what many consider an intense portion of the show. And this is many people's favorite part too, but it's known as the Quizzitch section. And so, listeners, if this is your first time listening, this is the part of the show where I have selfishly and pridefully claimed that I know Harry Potter better than anybody else in the world. And I have decided to put this to the test by challenging the world to a trivia competition. And so I represent myself, my guests represent the world, and every single season, which is us covering a book, I ask them 2 questions, they ask me 2 questions each episode, and then at the end of each season we count who knows more about Harry Potter, me or the world. I won season 1, lost season 2, lost season 3. Here we are at season 4. Currently, I am down by 1.5. I'm down by 1.5 points. But so here at this moment, Monica, if you have your 2 questions prepared, you'll ask me the question, I'll ask you, and we'll go back and forth like that. Sound good?
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Fantastic. Ask me your first question.
Okay. I have it here in my chocolate frog notebook.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah. Okay. What year was the first Triwizard Tournament?
Oh, wow. The first Triwizard Tournament was...
I know that one's kind of hard.
I'm going to get this wrong. Was it 1100?
Kind of close. It was 1294.
1294.
Yeah.
Not close enough though. I got it wrong. All right. So I will ask you a question. This is a multiple choice.
Okay.
Okay. Which one of these dragons was not a dragon that was used as one of the competition dragons in the Triwizard Tournament? So you have A, the Chinese fireball, B, the Swedish short snout, C, the common Welsh green, D, the Norwegian ridgeback, or E, the Hungarian horntail.
D.
D, Norwegian ridgeback.
Ridgeback, yeah.
That is correct.
Yay!
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, that's what Norberto was.
Oh,
Norberto.
yeah.
Good job. Okay. Got a lead real quick. Monica,
Cool.
what's your next question?
Okay, next question. Maybe this one's a little easier. What is the name of the character who saves Harry during the second task in the book?
In the book, the name of the character that saves Harry is Dobby.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay.
Fantastic. All right, I'm not going to get skunked on this one. That's good. Okay. Your question. You have 4 dogs. Big dog fan.
Yeah.
What type of dog does Cedric transfigure the rock into during his task 1? He transfigures his rock into a dog, but Ron specifically says the breed of dog. What breed was it?
Is it Labrador?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
That's correct. Ding, ding,
Oh,
ding.
yeah.
Good job.
Yay,
Okay.
yay. Awesome.
Very good. So you got both your questions right, and I got one right. So listeners, congratulations. You have gained another point, and it is now, the world is up by 2.5 points in this competition. Yay.
Yay.
All right. Monica, these are some just for funsies, because typically I write down a lot of questions in case my guests ask me a question I had planned to ask. So just for funsies, nothing's on the line here, but let's see if you get these right. Who told Rita Skeeter that Hermione and Harry hung out often were always seen together?
Was it Colin Creevy?
That's correct.
Okay, cool.
My goodness. All right. And then the other one, what spell does Harry use to cut open Cedric's bag?
Diffindo.
4 for 4. That's incredible. Good job. My goodness.
Yay.
This is always so interesting, because when I've had several different Harry Potter people come on this podcast.
Yeah.
And when it's their first time, I never know how much they know. And with some of them, they really love the Harry Potter world, but they don't got them facts locked down like that, you know? And so you are not one of those people, though. Wow, that was incredible. Good job.
I think it's also because so we have trivia nights here in Vegas, and there's always a yearly Harry Potter one, and we usually
That's
me
your
and
Super
my
Bowl.
team. Yeah, pretty much that's me and my team like to win, so we like to keep on our toes on trying to defend that title of always winning each year. So
that's awesome.
I think that's why. Yeah, thank you.
All right. And so now, listeners, before we move on, we need to answer your question from last week and then give you your question for this week. So listeners, last week's Quizzitch question was, what type of wand is Fleur Delacour's wand? What type of wood is that wand? And the answer to that question was rosewood. So if you said rosewood, congratulations, you got it right. If you didn't, better luck next time. Next time being right now. Later in this chapter, we are told that the dragons can shoot their flames to a distance of 20 feet, except the Hungarian horntail can shoot it farther. What distance is the Hungarian horntail able to shoot his flames? If you know the answer to that, please write into theretoldpodcast@gmail.com or message me on Instagram at theretoldpodcast. And that wraps up our Quizzitch section. Monica, are you ready for our chapter coverage?
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's go.
Let's do this. So listeners, again, if you're new here, how this typically works is I will recap, hopefully in a fun and entertaining way, everything that happens in chapters 19 and 20. Along the way, Monica is free to comment and chime in and interrupt me as she sees fit. All right. If you hear her cutting me off, she's not being rude. She's doing what I asked her to. All right. And so at the end of each chapter coverage, we will have our bonus segments where we talk about our favorite lines. We will highlight movie changes and also behind the scenes lores, tids and bits, things like that. And then we'll do it all again for the next chapter. And at the very end, we have our spoiler section where we talk about things that a person who has not finished the series might not know about. So if you don't want to be spoiled, hopefully we will not spoil you. So let's get it rocking. Chapter 19, the Hungarian Horntail. The chapter opens up and life is not so fun for Harry. He's excited that he gets to talk to Sirius later, but in reality, he's thinking, I don't even know if that's going to help all that much. Good news, though. Harry just got published in the Daily Prophet. Yay! Bad news. It's a Rita Skeeter article. Boo. And Rita basically makes the whole article about Harry. You know, it's supposed to be this segment on the Triwizard Tournament and the other champions, but she doesn't even mention Cedric, and she lists the other two champions as this last line in the article. She calls Harry a sad little crybaby orphan boy, all right, who's always crying about his parents being dead, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, all right? And she also makes this note about he and Hermione having a little bit of puppy love going on. Ooh. And technically, I wrote this note, technically he is top of his own school because in the article, you know, Monica, she writes, and he's one of the top students and one of this Slytherins makes fun of him and says, him at the top of this class, like it must be a school only you and Neville go to. But as Moody mentions, the reason Harry was able to get in was because the goblet thought he was entered in under his own fourth school. So technically he kind of is at the top if he's the only student at that school. I just thought that was a silly little thing. He's going along in the hallways. People are making fun of him. He has this rough moment with Cho where somebody like taps him on the back. He's like, yes, I'm about to go cry about my mama. And it's just Cho going, I'm sorry. I couldn't let you drop your pencil.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It was such a sad moment. Hermione is handling all the hate with ease, though. Like he talks about how she's got her head held high. She's saying, just ignore them. She's trying to get Harry and Ron to talk to each other, but they don't want to. And Harry has this funny little moment when they're in the library comparing Ron to Hermione. And it said, Harry liked Hermione very much, but she just wasn't the same as Ron, you know, and he has, I miss my bro moment. And for anybody that watches SpongeBob, I pictured the episode where SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs were separated and SpongeBob has to work for the Chum Bucket and they're singing that song to each other.
I love SpongeBob.
You.
Oh my God, that episode is so good.
That might be the meme for this week. We'll put it in there. So anyway, Crumb is also hanging out in the library. So the girls are hanging around there too. And Hermione goes, he's not even that cute.
Cute.
But I wonder if she means that.
Yeah.
Anyway. She also says he wouldn't be that big of a deal if he couldn't do the wonky feint. And Harry's like, Ronsky feint. That was almost a question. I almost asked you if you would have guessed.
Oh man, yeah, I would have messed that one up.
Rats.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's a good. Yay.
Yeah,
You got him right. The days start flying by, and it's the Saturday before the task. And Hermione says, you know what, Harry? Let's get you out of here. All right, let's go on a trip. Let's head down to Hogsmeade. And Harry says, heck yeah, but not without my cloak. And Hermione, she doesn't like that. I always enjoy listening to the Jim Dale narrations, and I enjoyed the moment, the way he voice acted her going, all right, fine, but I hate talking to you in that thing. I can never tell if I'm actually looking at you. But they make their way to Hogsmeade, and they pass some students wearing Support Cedric badges. They pass Rita Skeeter. Eventually, they make it to the Three Broomsticks, and it is packed, but they go on in. Harry has this funny moment where he sees Ron with Lee and his brothers, and he's like, wish I could just poke him in the back of the head. That'll show him, Harry. But he goes and sits at a table, and Hermione hooks him up with some butterbeer. I love, Monica, this moment where Hermione's like, you know, Harry's not talking to her enough, and she's like, you know what? Don't even worry. It's a good thing I brought stuff.
Brought something. Yeah,
whips out her spew books.
Yeah, she probably looks dumb, like by herself.
And yeah, just talking to herself and going over the spew articles.
Yeah.
Harry looks around and he sees that some people are wearing Support Cedric badges and Potter Stinks, but then he sees a group of Ravenclaw girls, and Cho is among them. And it brightens him up a little bit that she's not wearing one of those badges. My note was, Cho isn't wearing a badge, smiley face. Eventually, Hagrid and Moody come walking into the Three Broomsticks. Moody's got his hip flask. Rosmerta doesn't like that. And wrote down, and get this, Monica. Harry, even though he's under the invisibility cloak, turns and waves at them.
Tries to say hi.
But they can't see him. Silly
That's
Harry.
so true. Yeah.
Or can they? Because just then Moody looks over. He taps Hagrid on the small of the back, which I thought was funny because it said he couldn't reach Hagrid's shoulder. He's like, Hagrid. And they like freaking like a toddler with their parent.
Yeah.
And they walk over to Hermione, and Moody says, peekaboo, Potter. Nice cloak. And we learn that Moody's eye can see under invisibility cloaks. And that's pretty cool. And another way of writing that is, and that's pretty unsafe for a school full of kids. Oh, well. Hagrid then tells Harry, hey, come over to my place tonight at midnight. He obviously doesn't know that Harry's supposed to meet Sirius at 1 o'clock. But Harry, never one to worry about punctuality, says, bet. So he sneaks out of the castle that night, makes his way over to Hagrid's cabin, knocks on the door, and Hagrid is looking fine.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So,
oh my gosh.
Listeners, if you're watching right now, Monica has very nice hair done up, but I don't know if it could have competed with Hagrid and the way he has his hair done right now. with bits of
Oh my
comb
gosh.
teeth sticking out
I
of it.
always love that too in like I mean when they depict it in the films too. I just love it how his hair is like nicely combed.
Yeah, and I like in the film when he says, he basically tells Harry, "You might should try the same thing too yourself." You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
not just me, you could do it too.
Yeah.
And it's such a like, I don't know. I've done that a lot where there's something I will often not do, but the moment I start to do it, I tell everybody else, wouldn't hurt you guys to try this
Yeah,
yourselves.
like you should do this too. That's so funny.
But after Harry puts on the cloak over himself, Hagrid leads Harry to the Beauxbatons carriage. Beauxbatons or Beauxbatons? What do you say, Monica?
Beauxbaton.
Beauxbaton.
That's
okay.
what yeah. But what's like the correct like
You know, I've heard both. And the other day
Yeah.
I have a YouTube where I will post like either shorts from this, like I'll post the full episodes, but sometimes I'll post little clips, or I'll post shorts about like just random lore tidbits and bits, stuff like that, like golden snitch stuff.
Yeah.
And I posted one about Beauxbaton the other day, and the only comments I got on it were, you had like one guy said, "You have my permission to practice pronunciation before you do this." Somebody said, "Dude, they even say it in the movie. How did you get it wrong?" And I was like, first of all, they say it both ways in the movies. All right, I hear Beauxbatons and Beauxbaton, so don't come for me.
Yeah. So
Listeners,
you're
write
right
in.
either way. Yeah.
Listeners, let me know what you think. All right, which one it is. My listeners who actually care,
Yeah.
not these random trolls.
Girls,
So,
yeah.
Harry tries to talk to Hagrid, but he says, I love this. So Hagrid walks up to the cabin and Harry goes like, "What are you doing?" And Hagrid just goes, "Don't ruin this for me, boy."
Like
And out walks
so
Madame
cute.
Maxine. And ooh, I love this moment. Monica, Hagrid starts to lead her around on a nice moonlit stroll, okay, over the grounds next to the forest. And to Hagrid's credit, she seems to be vibing with it too. You know, the text says she speaks playfully. You know, she bats her long eyelashes.
Yeah.
All right, not bad. But my note was, I see why Hagrid didn't bring Fang, because there's already a dog out there. You know what I'm saying?
I can't. It's so good.
Eventually, though, Harry thinks Harry thinks he's just acting as mayor of Third Wheel City, and he's about to leave when all of a sudden they hear it. The shouts and flashes of flame. They round the corner and then they see it. The dragons. There's a large group of men trying to wrestle them all, but they're not having it. And then the men have to pull out their wands and stun the dragons, and the dragons just take a nice little nap. The lead dragon keeper turns around, and who is it? It's Charlie. We know that guy.
Yeah.
And he and Hagrid start chit-chatting about the dragons. And I have a few notes on their conversation. One is that, like, the Maxime call out. So he tells Hagrid, like, "Hey, why the heck did you bring her out?" And Hagrid kind of says, same vibe of, "Don't ruin this for me."
It's for me. Yeah.
But also, he goes, he kind of just shrugs, really. He's like, "I thought it'd be all right. She just want to see him."
Yeah.
And I love Charlie saying, "Some date idea,
Some
Hagrid."
date, yeah. That was funny.
Yeah. And then Hagrid also does a good job of like getting information out of Charlie in this conversation. You know, because Hagrid, I don't think anybody would accuse Hagrid of being a good spy, you know, and getting intel. But he actually does it here where, you know, he's not subtle at all. He goes, "So what are they for?"
Or
Each champion gets one. What do they got to do with them? Get past them? We also find out that they are nesting mothers, and that's what the Triwizard judges wanted for some reason. We don't know why. We also learn that Molly is believing everything that Rita Skeeter writes, because Charlie goes, "You should just hear her at home, just crying over here. Like, he still cries about his mother. I never knew. I never knew."
Yeah.
And it's at that point that Harry goes, "You know what? I think I'm done with this. Let's get out of here." So
I like how
rolls
he
on
just
out.
like walks off too. Like he doesn't even say anything to Hagrid. He's just like, "I'm over this. Let me go."
Yeah, I think in the text it says something like, "You know what? Hagrid will be just fine with Maxime and some dragons to keep him busy. I'm going to go."
And it makes me wonder, like, how long did it take for Hagrid to like wonder, like, or realize that Harry's gone. Like he's not even there.
I don't know if he ever did.
Maybe he didn't. Yeah, he was too
probably just,
distracted.
like,
Yeah.
he like I can just see him getting back to his cabin, petting Fang,
Yeah.
and being like,
What
"Did I
happened to
forget
him?"
something?"
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably I probably meant to say something to Maxine. Can't even remember.
Yeah. That's so funny.
But anyway, he starts walking back to the castle, and out of nowhere, he runs into Igor Kakarov. You know, they just bump into each other. It's a really funny moment to me where Kakarov just, who goes there? Like, who's around?
Yeah.
And after not hearing anybody, he's just like, it's like video game dialogue
Whatever.
where he's like, must be the wind.
Yeah.
He just keeps on moving.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I think Harry says, Harry thinks he probably just thought it was some animal. And rolls
Animal.
out.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be pretty scared. Like if I felt something that heavy, I wouldn't just
Mhm.
ignore it, but I guess.
This is Hogwarts, all right? There's some
Yeah.
terrible things that happen here.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Maybe it's the giant squid just going for a
Yeah.
stroll.
Yeah.
But Harry deduces that all the champions will know about the dragons now except Cedric. He feels a little bit bad about that. Continues to walk up to the castle, further up, goes up the stairs, and without a minute to spare, he finally makes it back into the common room. And Sirius is already there waiting for him in the flames. And this is probably one of like the sweetest moments of this book to me, because Harry gets in front of the flames. He's about to talk to Sirius, and Sirius says, like, "Are you okay?" And the whole
Yeah.
time, Harry even makes note of this. When people ask him, "Are you okay?" he keeps saying he is, even though he knows he's not.
Mhm.
And he's about to say that he is, but then it's like this thing just melts away, and he just unloads everything. And it's like, it's one of those moments that makes your heart break for little Harry, little orphan Harry, of like, he doesn't have a
Mhm.
parent, doesn't have a father figure, a mother.
Yeah.
And I love this, that I love that Sirius lets him ramble on. Even though there's so important things to talk about, I love that they get to have this moment together. It's very
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
yeah, so Harry ends up telling him everything, and he says at the very end of his little monologue, and on top of that, we got to face dragons. And Sirius' response is so funny to me. He goes, "Dragons, no problem, bro. We can handle that. We got worse things to worry about." He's like, "What? Worse
Yeah.
things than dragons?"
Dragons.
And it's not that comforting. But Sirius drops the news that Kakarov was a Death Eater. He was arrested by Moody, and he got out because he was a no-good tattletaler. And he's still probably not that good of a person, so look out for him, Harry. And they also discuss a few other sketchy things going on. The attack at Moody's house the night before, or the day before he had to go to Hogwarts. They talk about Bertha Jorkins and the tournament. Finally, Sirius goes, "You know what, Harry? I've probably wasted enough time. Let me tell you about the super important information you need to know in order to get past this dragon." But just then, oh no, somebody's coming down the stairs. So he's got to run. Harry tells him to leave. And who is it coming down? It's Ron. Boom. And I do like this moment though, where Harry, I love like the honesty in Harry's inner monologue, where he says he knows it's not Ron's fault. He shouldn't be
Yeah.
mad at Ron,
But
but
he just
he
couldn't help
is.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ends
Mhm.
up chucking that badge at Ron, and then he drops
Yeah.
that one line. It was one of the best insults of the series, I feel like.
Yeah.
What is it? It's like, oh, that'll leave a
Something about, like,
scar.
a
Isn't that what you
scar that
always
you
wanted?
wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And that's the end of the chapter. Yay. I usually in my chapter cover just going, yay, but it's a little deflated after
Yeah.
an interaction like that. But now, moving on to our favorite lines section. I got quite a few, and I do apologize if I stole any of yours. The
Yeah,
first
no.
one, it's near the beginning of the chapter when the article has come out in the Daily Prophet. But ignore it, Hermione said in a dignified voice, holding her head high in the air and stalking past the sniggering, slithering girls as though she couldn't hear them. Just ignore it, Harry. I like the dignified posture. I like that, like,
Sure.
nothing can touch me. I'm good to go. So I
Exactly.
like that depiction of her. And then a very famous one right on the next page in my copy. It's a strange thing, but when you are dreading something and would give anything to slow down time, it has a disobliging habit of speeding up. And that's very unfortunate for Harry. But
Mhm.
very relatable, very true. It's like anytime there's a few lines like that in this book so far. And anytime I read something like that, it makes me think of when I would have to do testing in high school. And
Yeah.
I didn't have enough time. It felt like the time to study would go by so quickly. And then the time to do the test lasted so long.
Yeah, exactly. Agreed.
But I'm
I'm
turning.
trying
Did you
to.
find any of yours?
Yeah, I'm like, how did? Hold on, 1 second. I think we did talk about some of them. Of course, like the line where he says that he wishes that he could just like poke Ron in the head
Yeah.
under the invisibility cloak. I just love his I just love sassy Harry, like in the book compared to like the movie. And then I think one was this part. It said I just thought it was funny. Nearby on a table, the support Cedric Diggory badges the Creevies had been trying to improve were glinting in the firelight. They now read, "Potter really stinks." Harry looked into the flames and jumped. And I love that because it just like shows, like the Creevies are always trying to be on Harry's side, but then they do things that end up actually making him look worse.
It's like Dobby. Anytime
Yeah.
he tries to help Harry, making it worse.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I didn't ask you that question. I almost asked you as one of your questions, what did the Creevies end up turning the badge to say? But you would have known that too.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I thought that
And
was
then
so funny.
I liked right after that line where it says, Harry sees Sirius in the fire, and Sirius Head was sitting in the fire. If Harry hadn't seen Mr. Diggory doing exactly this back in the Weasleys' kitchen, it would have scared him out of his wits. Instead, his face breaking into the first smile he had worn for days, he scrambled out of his chair, crouched down by but anyway, just saying like that one line of him smiling and actually happy in this moment.
Yeah. I was like stressed for him for sure, like throughout this chapter. I'm trying to figure out. Yeah.
And then my last favorite line that I have here is when Harry sees Ron after Ron comes down the stairs. It goes to show like the such strong emotion Harry has in this moment. He says, Harry knew that Ron had no idea what he'd walked in on. He knew he hadn't done it on purpose, but he didn't care. At this moment, he hated everything about Ron, right down to the several inches of bare ankle showing beneath his pajama trousers. Like, my goodness, Harry, like, I hate your trousers. I hate your ankles. I hate your shoes. I hate your slippers. Like, just going through.
Yeah, and that's why I said, like, I just love how petty and, like, sassy Harry is. It's just, it's so good. It's so funny.
Yeah, if Harry wanted to be a bully, he could have done a good job.
Really, yeah, for sure.
But that's all my favorite lines. Did you have any more?
I think, like, we pretty much talked about them, too. Yeah, just, like, Charlie bringing up the fact that he's like, oh, what a romantic date this is, like, to be showing off dragons and yeah. So that's pretty much all for that chapter specifically, but it was a good chapter. It just like made me laugh like a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also like too we mentioned it, but I just want to call it out specifically because it's probably my favorite of the chapter, the one at the end where Harry says, you might even have a scar now if you're lucky. That's what you want, isn't it? But now moving on to our transfigurations. And so these are changes that the movies made from the books. And so for the most part, this chapter is mainly like an omission because we don't get Harry and Hermione with him under the cloak going to Hogsmeade, talking to Hagrid and all that. And we don't get Harry running into Kakarot. When Harry goes to see Hagrid at his hut though, and then they go into the forest, the lead up to that is Ron like secretly trying to tell Hermione, hey, Hagrid's looking for you. But that whole little joke doesn't happen in the book, really.
Yeah.
It's like Dean heard from Parvati to tell Seamus to tell you. that whole the way that Harry is informed to go see Hagrid is different. Because in the book, it's just Hagrid himself coming up and saying
it.
Come hang out. And then Hagrid doesn't go up to the Beauxbatons carriage. He just kind of meets her in the woods. Be glad you came.
Yeah.
Go off.
Yeah.
The conversation. Oh, and we also don't get to see Charlie. He might be in the woods. I don't know, but we don't get to talk to him.
Yeah.
And Harry doesn't run into Kakarot. The conversation with Sirius is much longer in the book than it is in the movie because Sirius also talks. He does talk about Kakarot during that conversation, but he doesn't talk about Bertha Jorkin in the movie. Although he also mentions Barty Crouch. He tells Harry to beware of Barty Crouch in that conversation, but that comes later in the book. And then finally, the last two things. One is the interaction with Ron, and at the end of this chapter, Harry, I would say, is a bit nicer in the movie. He's sort of just kind of disappointed about everything going on, and he says like one sassy line. But in the book, he freaking throws the badge at him.
The badge, for sure.
And then the last one is that at the beginning of the chapter, the Rita article came out, but in the movie, that doesn't take place until after the first competition, I believe. At least the one that talks about Harry being with Hermione.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's all we got for Transfigurations. Moving on now, listeners, to our golden snitches, which are behind the scenes, lore grabs, little tids and bits. And what I have for you today is the dragons. So the first one, the common Welsh green. And we heard all the names of these dragons earlier when they were in the woods. Charlie says them to Hagrid. So the first one, the common Welsh green, or just Welsh green, was a dragon native to Wales. It nested in the higher mountain regions where a reservation had been set up for it. It was a green dragon with a distinctive musical roar. And that's kind of cool. The average length of the adult was 18 feet. It was a relatively subdued creature, except for the rare exception of the Ilfracombe incident. And we'll hear more about that in a second. It preferred to prey mainly on sheep and other small mammals to avoid human contact altogether. So that if you go on the wiki, listeners, you'll hear a lot of cool history about them. There's a lot of Hogwarts mystery lore to do with them. But the Ilfracombe incident is kind of a famous one, occurred in 1932 when a roe common Welsh green attacked a group of sunbathers at Ilfracombe in Devon, England. I'm going to feel so terrible if I've been saying the name of this place wrong. The attack was thwarted by the Toke wizarding family, who proceeded to cast the largest group of memory charms seen in the 20th century. The Toke family were subsequently awarded the Order of Merlin First Class for their heroism of quick thinking. So my question that I had here, this is have you seen the Fantastic Beasts movies?
Yeah.
I'm wondering, here it says this was the largest memory charm performed in the 20th century. But at the end of the first Fantastic Beast movie, they obliviate all of New York.
Everybody,
So this had to be bigger than that then. So
that's
that'd
pretty
be
cool.
Massive memory charm. I wonder how they pulled that off.
Yeah.
Some behind the scenes fun facts. In Lego Harry Potter, years 1 through 4, the Welsh green is the second dragon seen, and it blocks your way by knocking its tail toward the ground. You have to play music on a xylophone in order that the dragon sings to make it fall. In order to make the dragon fall asleep. Unlike the other dragons in the first task, which are shown in the modern wyvern design, the common Welsh green selected by Fleur, spoilers for next chapter, is depicted in the classic dragon design with 4 legs. And so, the two of the ways people typically draw dragons, one has all 4 legs with the wings, and the other, its front 2 legs are the wings. But this one was the only one that had all 4 legs.
Oh, yeah.
And
Because
then-
isn't if it's 2, it's like a wyvern technically?
Yeah, it's
Right?
one of the 2, and I'm not sure which, but
Yeah.
So that's the Welsh green. Moving on to the Swedish short snout. The Swedish short snout was a species of dragon native to the uninhabited mountains of Sweden. It was a silvery blue dragon that breathed a brilliant blue flame. It preferred to live in the wild, uninhabited areas. Since it rarely came into contact with humans, the short snout has less deaths to its name than most dragons. However, the short snout was a dangerous species due to its agile flying and extremely hot fire. As its name suggests, the Swedish short snout, that's hard to say, is brachyphaic, meaning it has a short muzzle. This little note about it saying, since it's not around humans, it doesn't cause as many deaths, makes me think of, I heard a comedian one time joking around saying that somebody was trying to encourage him to go open ocean swimming. He was out on a boat and the person was saying, you should go open ocean swimming. And they said, he was worried about sharks. And the person goes, Well, there's actually a lot fewer shark attacks in the open ocean. And the guy goes, yeah, that's because people don't swim here. Like, they swim at the beach,
Yeah. Oh man, that sounds so scary.
Yeah. So a little behind the scenes thing. Oh, no, this is actually cool. So a little history about them. The trophy awarded to the winner of the annual broom race between Kopparberg and Arjeplog is modeled after the Swedish short snout, a reference to the race's route through the Dragon Reservation, where they are all presumably kept. It's a little behind the scenes things. In the Harry Potter Lego game, the short snout is one of the dragons caged by Hagrid, and it will either attempt to incinerate the player by blasting its blue flames through holes in the walls, or shoot fireballs at a small purple ring, which must be levitated around the room in order to have the dragon sever the chains supporting a bridge. You can buy this dragon at Harry Potter Wizarding World, and then, interestingly enough, in the film adaptation of Goblet of Fire, the short snout is shown to be yellow, unlike in the novel, where it's silvery blue. So there's a movie change, Transfiguration. Last two, Chinese Fireball, also known as the Lion Dragon, was a dragon native to China, as the name would suggest, which was named for the rounded fireballs of flames that shot from its nostrils. It was scarlet in color and smooth scaled, with a fringe of golden spikes around its snub-snouted face and extremely protuberant eyes. They weighed between 2 and 4 tons. Its diet was carnivorous, consisting of mainly mammals, with many fireballs preferring pigs and humans. Oh, no. The Chinese fireball breed of dragons generally yielded females that were larger than males, and the eggs were vivid crimson speckled with gold, and the shells were prized for use in Chinese wizardry. Powdered Chinese fireball eggs had uses that were discovered by a famous Chinese wizard in the 15th and 16th century. I just said famous Chinese wizard because I saw the name and I was like, I'm not trying to pronounce that.
I should say it. Yeah.
Okay, and then last little bit. Sir Eric Parpidum was a famous dragon killer who was active centuries before the 20th century. His most famous duel was with a Chinese fireball, which he killed and took the claws of as a trophy, storing the claws in his vault in Gringotts Wizarding Bank. And then your behind-the-scenes thing for them. And I did think this was interesting. The fireball resembles a European dragon, even though Chinese dragon, or like Asian dragons, are more like long and skinny. Whereas the Western dragons look more like the Game of Thrones or Smaug and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
In Lego Harry Potter, the fireball is the first dragon that you see, and it will block your progress with a steady stream of flame. So that's fun. Yay. And last, was that the last one? Oh, there's one more dragon. What's the name of it? The Horntail.
Hungarian Horntail, yeah.
Yeah, I need to pull that. I forgot to pull that one up. The Hungarian horntail was a species of dragon native to, you guessed it, Hungary, which was considered to be one of the most dangerous dragon breeds, if not the most dangerous. It possessed black scales, a spiked tail, and was lizard-like in appearance. The dragon's roar was a yowling, screeching scream, and its flame could reach to about, I can't say that. That's your Quizzitch question, listeners. I'm not going to give that away. Let's see. Eats a lot of animals, tons of stuff. What else? You would think there'd be a lot more about this dragon than the others, but I'm actually not seeing as much.
Not too much.
Yeah.
I have a Hungarian horntail tattoo. I don't know if
you can see it.
Can you see it? Kind of? A little bit in the sheer?
Not really.
Really.
She's wearing sleeves, listeners.
There's
I don't have Moody's eye. I can't.
It's a cool dragon.
Yeah, in the film adaptation of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the Horntail's manner of breathing fire by shooting a pair of chemical liquids that cause a fire blast on contact is possibly based on the same fire-breathing manner used by dragons in the film Reign of Fire. Oh, that's kind of cool. Let me just skim through here real quick. Sorry, I didn't look this one up ahead of time. The Pottermore illustration of the Hungarian horntail resembles its description in the novels, having 4 legs and 2 wings, with a lizard-like head and being black in color with bronze spikes and claws, markedly different from the film adaptation, which resembles more of a wyvern. Okay, so that's our answers, that wyverns, their wings are on their hands. So,
yeah.
In the credits of the film adaptation of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, it says no dragons were harmed in the making of this movie. This likely refers to the scene in the film where the Hungarian horntail falls off the bridge.
That's
Yeah, I
so
always
funny.
wondered what happened to
I
that
always
horntail.
wondered too, and I was like sad when I think during my rewatch I was like, oh no, did I like actually die? But no. Yeah.
All right, and that's all we got for this chapter. Yay! All
Okay.
right, moving on now to chapter 20, the first task. It's Sunday morning. The task is on Tuesday, so Harry doesn't have that much time left. He goes to tell Hermione all the stuff that he learned last night, and her reaction so much better than Sirius's, I feel like, because Sirius, don't worry about the dragons. All right, we need to talk about Kakarot. All right, we need to talk about more important things. And Hermione, complete opposite, where she just goes, let's worry about Kakarot later. Let's just keep you alive until Tuesday evening. Let's just do that.
The priorities are so funny.
So they head to the library to try to get some info on the dragons, but no dice. And the next day at breakfast, Harry spots Cedric Diggory. And Harry has a good boy moment and decides that he should tell him about the dragons. So he tells Hermione, hey, deuces, I'll catch up with you at herbology later. I'm going to go talk to Cedric. So he goes to talk to Cedric, and he's like, he sees the crowd of people around him, doesn't want to talk to them. I have an idea. I'll help him by destroying his property. And what spell does he cast?
Defendo.
Defendo. That's right. Somebody knew that in Quizzitch.
Yay.
Good job. So he casts Defendo, rips Cedric's bag open, and Cedric's like, this was brand new too, Even has that line.
He
I just
brushes
got
it
this.
off right after.
He's like, laughs and rich and handsome. Everybody else walks into class. But Harry walks up, and it's really, I enjoyed the moment too, because Cedric tries to kind of make small talk where he says just what we mentioned of like, man, crazy, this is a new bag. And Harry, rather than saying hey or sorry or whatever, he just goes, it's dragons. It's dragons. It's the first task. What?
Yeah.
But he ends up telling Cedric all about the stuff going on. Cedric is a little skeptical at first. And I like, Harry is somewhat, it shows how good of a person Harry is when Cedric goes, are you serious? You're not lying, are you? And Harry's like, why would I lie about this? Of course, this is what's happening. And he gives him good reason, because Cedric goes, why would you tell me? And he says, well, it's only fair because everybody else knows now. So we're all on equal footing. Just then, Mad-Eye Moody comes walking up and tells Harry to come with him. And they go to Moody's office, and at once, Harry is a little fascinated by the magical objects in there. And he says, what is this stuff? And Moody says, these are things that Barry will tell the listeners about in the Golden Snitch section. Right you are, Mad-Eye. Then Moody says, Harry, I saw you had a good boy moment. All right, you went and told Cedric about the dragons. How are you going to get past them? And Moody tries to tell him to play to his strengths. Oh, there's my dog walking in now.
Oh,
what are you doing? Koga? Where is Koga? What are you doing? Wait, Koga, get over here. Koga, come here. He's getting his toy. He wants to bring me his toy.
That's so cute.
Koga, man. Hey, come here. You got to show yourself to Monica.
Oh my gosh, cute.
Drop it. All right, hold on. I don't normally do this, but all right, come a little closer. Sit. Let me get the camera on him.
Oh my gosh.
Because he is a very well behaved boy.
Yeah.
And I actually sent him to we got him from these people that train them for the Navy SEALs. So he's
no
super
way.
well behaved.
That's
Right.
so cool.
Wait. And we could do half the podcast
Oh my
like
God.
this. He would just keep
Oh
it
my
here.
God. No way.
All right.
What a
And he
good
catches
boy.
it.
Oh my God.
All right, go to your place. Future Barry here. Apologies to my audio only listeners, because what you didn't get to see was I placed a little toy on top of my dog's head, or on top of his snoot, and he held it there like a good boy until I said, free. And then he grabbed it. He actually caught it. It was really cool. That's why you got to check out the YouTube. Anyway, back to the podcast. Good boy.
That made my day. That's so cool.
Yeah.
What a smart boy.
He is. So I am I'm also a youth pastor, and sometimes I'll record some of my lessons and in video format, and I'll later put them out for my students. And there was one time I was recording a lesson, and he's back there, he's sitting in his little bed, and and he's a good boy. He won't bark, he won't shout or anything. He stays in that spot until I say free, and he'll move. So he's sitting there being all good. However, every once in a while he's a dog and he'll lick himself. I was like, you can't do that when I'm talking about the Lord. Right?
In the background.
Like, well, I got to redo that.
Yeah. That's funny.
But I would want to keep him in because it's kind of cute to have him back there.
Yeah. Aw.
Anyway, where were we talking about? Oh, so Moody says, you got to play to your strengths. Sorry, listeners, we had a dog break. But Moody says, play to your strengths. And Harry's like, I don't have any strengths. Moody says, bull crap. You're good at flying. All right. You can do that really well. And so Harry forms his master plan, and he needs to learn how to make a summoning charm. I do love the transition to Hermione in that moment where he says, like, the line says something like, what Harry needs is ... And the next line, Hermione. He's talking to her. It was good writing. But he forms this plan of like, he needs to be able to summon his firebolt. And we get a training montage. Down. It's like a little training arc where Harry just you can picture the Rocky music playing in the background. Harry staying up late at night trying to summon all the things to him.
Which is really cool because I thought like we don't see that in the movie. So it's really nice to see like how he actually was able to get that training done. Yeah.
Magic being a little more like amorphous in the movies. Just not sure exactly how you build up your magic. But here, it's Hermione explains to him the theory behind the summoning spell and how focused you have to be. I do like when Harry goes, I'm trying to concentrate, but every time I start to, I think of a big dragon right in my face. But we get a little training montage, and it ends with Harry in the Gryffindor common room surrounded by books and quills, and he and Hermione are like, we did it! Yay! But it's finally game day. All right, Monica, the time has arrived. And I love the writing of this morning where it just talks about like time's going by quickly. Harry doesn't even really notice people. It said he felt like something like a stranger amongst the people there. Like he wasn't one of them. Which is good writing showing his like isolation. But McGonagall comes to collect him during lunch. And they have a sweet moment when she tells him that the champions, she has a sweet moment as they're walking to the champions tent, and she's like checking in on him, like, you're okay, and all this. Eventually, she drops him off in the tent, and he sees all the other champions that are already there. I like the descriptions of each one, with Fleur, she's just looking pale, not like her normal pretty self. Crumb is looking, it said a little more surly than normal. Harry supposed that was how he showed nerves. And Cedric is pacing. Ludo Bagman comes walking in and says, listen up, y'all. All right, here's the rules. I got a bag of goodies for you. You got to draw something out of it, and that will be your obstacle to get past in order to get to the egg. Oh, by the way, Harry, come outside with me. And they go outside, and he's like, he asks Harry if there's anything he can do for him. And I wrote down, what do you mean? Like cheat? Yeah, cheat. No, I'm good. Are you sure? We could cheat if you really wanted. Yeah, I'm all right. And that's kind of how that conversation goes.
Yeah, pretty much.
I did also forget, before Ludo and Harry go out there, they draw the dragons. And it's funny, and we mentioned this a little bit earlier, but it's funny to me that as they each get their dragon, Fleur gets the Welsh green, Cedric the Swedish short snout, Crumb the Chinese firebolt. And I know in that moment, with Harry being the last one, he was just like, I just knew this was going to be it. I just knew that it was going to be me and this daggum worst of all of them dragons.
Worst of all of them.
A 14-year-old can handle it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, the task begins. Cedric goes first, then Fleur, then Crumb, and Harry has to like sit in there and listen to all the commentary from Ludo on each one. But they each get their eggs in turn. And finally, it's his turn. And he heads out to face his dragon. And a few notes on his task. I love how and it's very similar to the beginning of this this day, but I love that when JK writes the noises, saying like everything, like it's like he was underwater or something, like people just didn't really exist almost. The noise was very muffled. That's what it said. Muffled, and he was very detached until he summons his broom, Like he doesn't see any
Yeah.
faces or hear noises, but when he summons his broom, gets on his broom and he soars up into the sky, it said something like he left his worries behind him.
Yeah.
You know, once he was doing something he was good at and capable at, it's ironic, and this will sound silly, but like the thing that made him fly grounded him. You know, that he was able to
for
do the task.
sure. Yeah, it's like all the confidence came back to him.
Like, you know
Yeah.
what? I am good at some stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, he summons his broom. He feels good right away. Feels right at home on that thing. And he toys with the dragon for a bit, you know, going up and down, trying
Yeah.
to. I like the description of the dragon's head, very cat-like, just trying to follow him along, or snake-like even.
Uh-huh.
And eventually he has the idea to trick the dragon to where it will leave its eggs just a little bit. And in that
Yeah.
moment, quick like lightning, Harry on his super fast firebolt zooms down, grabs the egg, and I like Ludo Bagman says, "Did you see that, Mr. Crumb?" You know, when Harry gets his egg and the crowd just goes crazy. Yay.
Ooh.
Harry lands back on the ground and he's greeted by McGonagall, Hagrid, and Moody. McGonagall, you know, her hands are shaking. She was all worried. Hagrid almost spills the beans where he's like, "You beat the Horntail. And that was the worst one. You remember Charlie said that on that super secret thing you weren't supposed to
And
be."
he's like, "Thank you, Hagrid."
Yeah. Raises his voice to, yeah.
Yeah.
And Moody just says something like, "Good job." But he's taken to Pomfrey's tent to heal up, and she is not happy. She's like, "Last year, Dementors, this year, dragons. What's next year?" And my funny thought was like, she's an adult reader. Like, whenever we read this series, like, this is what we think. What's going on at Hogwarts?
Literally. Yeah. It's not safe.
But Harry gets mended up, and then as he's about to go outside, Hermione and Ron come running into the tent, and finally, Harry and Ron make up. And it's this interesting moment where Ron is about to apologize, and Harry stops him. And like, I wanted to ask you, like, what you thought of that, because they have like this mutual understanding. But I've heard some people say, "Nah, Harry should have let him apologize. That would have been good for him." And others people say, "Nah, but he knew that what Ron like had felt repentant and was good enough." Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I do agree. I feel like it's like both a mutual understanding between both of them that they were both in the wrong, and like it's like he knew where Ron was coming from, and he didn't like want to have like that whole thing of him also having to apologize to Ron. So I feel like that's why he kind of stopped him and was like, "It's okay, we're good. Like we don't have to like."
Rather than us
actually
both
say it."
saying sorry and being,
Yeah, let's just be like, "We're
humbling
good."
ourselves. Let's just
Yeah.
forget it ever happened.
Yeah, literally. And I feel like that's like a thing too, where it's because they're like teenage boys and like, I don't know, they just like don't want to like own up to certain things like that. That's why they're like, "Okay, let's just like not talk about it." But
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like we both know, but let's not. Listen, I'm hype right now. I just did something
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah,
bum
let's
us
not ruin
out,
the
all right?
moment.
Yeah, let's not ruin the
Yeah.
moment. Hermione
Yeah.
calls them stupid, hugs them, and then runs away. They're like, mental, that one is.
Yeah.
So anytime Ron sees any bit of emotional depth, mental.
Mental. Yeah.
So Harry gets his scores. You know, the judges award him pretty well. He gets like an 8, 2 9s, and a 10 from Ludo, which is crazy. And like Ron goes, "Don't complain, all right?"
Yeah.
Then immediately after, he gets a 4 from Kakarov. So my notes here were, because I was like hurrying, trying to finish up the section. My notes were,
Yeah.
Kakarov sucks, Ron mad, Harry happy.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like Harry's happy about it because, you know, I love that line. I won't say it now, listeners. It'll be my
Yeah.
favorite lines, but Harry's really
Uh-huh.
happy. They go back to the champions tent and they get their rules for the next competition, where they're told, "Hey, hold on to that egg. There's a clue in there for the next task, and it'll take place sometime in February. So be prepared for that." And as they're heading back up to the castle, it says a witch jumps out at them, and it's Rita Skeeter. And she goes, "Can I have a word?" And Harry, "Yeah, you can have a word. Goodbye." Which is such like a 14-year-old boy insult. Like,
It is.
"Man,
Actually,
yeah,
that's
you
funny
told
'cause
her."
that one was like one of my favorite lines that I added in.
Yes, let's go ahead and jump into our favorite lines. So
Yeah.
you said that's one of yours?
Yeah, I think that was funny that yeah, you can have a word, said Harry savagely goodbye, and he set off back to the castle with Ron. I just think that just shows like, you know, his sassiness is just too good.
Yeah, and to me, it's also like, you just know both of them as they're walking back to the castle, like Ron's like, Harry, you got her good, man. Yeah, he totally owned
Like,
her.
oh, yeah. And they're like, wasn't that great? Yeah. So funny.
I think the one that I was about to say there with Harry and Ron when he was angry, or sorry, when Ron was angry on his behalf.
Mhm.
Oh, it's such a good line. Let me pull it up. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh wow, I'm still in the last chapter.
No,
Go
you're good.
back.
I think I found mine too.
Go for it.
Um. Oh, yeah. It's just the when he was in divination and he was like, I just thought it was funny. It was like he therefore had to endure over an hour of Professor Trelawney, who spent half the lesson telling everyone that the position of Mars with relation to Saturn at that moment meant that people born in July were in great danger of sudden violent deaths. Well, that's good, said Harry loudly, his temper getting the better of him. Just as long as it's not drawn out, I don't want to suffer. Which is funny because his birthday is in July too, so it's like
Yeah.
she was talking about him.
As she is wont to do.
Yeah.
One of mine comes literally right after that, where it's, he's practicing summoning charms underneath the desk, and it says he managed to make a fly zoom straight into his hand, although he wasn't entirely sure that was his prowess at summoning charms. Perhaps the fly was just stupid.
Yeah. That's so good. Oh man.
I liked it, not a line here, but I did, and I mentioned it during the coverage, but I really enjoyed when when McGonagall picked him up, and just the care and the love and consideration in her voice.
Like she actually is one of the only other teachers that actually care about Harry's well-being.
One of my other favorite lines, it comes when Harry is in the champions tent before the competition begins. Fleur was trembling from head to foot. Harry felt more warmly toward her than he had done so far as she left the tent with her head held high and her hand clutching her wand. What I liked about that is that so far, he's been kind of has disdain for Fleur because she's been disrespecting him, calling him a little boy and kind of making fun of him. But, it takes me back to book 1 when it says very few things bond people together or make them friends like fighting a fully grown mountain troll, and that'll do it. And this kind of has a similar vibes of all 4 of these champions are in the same boat of having to face something incredibly terrifying, and they're kind of united in that. And so even though she has been upsetting to him, here in this moment he's like empathizing with her and respecting her for what she's about to go do. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
I like that one. Did you have any others?
I don't really have specific, just
That's
again,
all right.
just going back to what we were talking about earlier too about just the whole montage of them. I just feel like it's nice to see how much Hermione was so helpful to Harry. Despite what him and Ron are going through, it's nice to know that he still had one friend that was okay, we really got to get this done. We got to have you survive, and we got to figure it out. And yeah, I just thought that it just again shows how good of a friend Hermione is to Harry.
Yeah, when I think of book 4, this little montage is one of the things that comes to my mind the quickest. I just enjoy this moment of it's fun, and it's in the midst of this difficult thing, it's kind of lighthearted in that they're Harry's improving and showing he's good at magic, and the connection between him and Hermione, and how joyful she is that her friend is improving in something. I like a lot of it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So 2 more of my favorite lines I had. One was, as he soared upward, as the wind rushed through his hair, as the crowd's faces became more flesh-colored pinpricks below, and the horntails shrank to the size of a dog, he realized that he had left not only the ground behind, but also his fear. He was back where he belonged. Oh, I love that for him.
Yeah.
That was nice. And then my last one was what I mentioned at the end of the chapter. But Harry, and so this was right after Kakarov awarded him 4 points. What? Ron bellowed furiously. 4, you lousy biased scumbag. You gave Crumb 10. But Harry didn't care. He wouldn't have cared if Kakarov had given him 0. Ron's indignation on his behalf was worth about 100 points to him.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
know.
that.
That one's a good one too. Yeah.
Have you
and
ever
it's
seen? Oh, go ahead.
nice. Oh no, I was just gonna say it's nice.
Yeah. Have you ever seen How I Met Your Mother, the TV show?
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah.
There's this moment in that show, listeners, if you haven't seen it, it's just a sitcom about a group of friends. But there's this moment in the show where a character named Lily, she hates certain people. And if she hates them, she asks that her friends hate them too. And I forget who it was, but like there were two country singers or something like that, and she confused them. So let's just say their names were like, oh, I can't even think of two country singers. Freaking Mariah Carey's not a country singer. Luke Bryan
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Dierks Bentley.
There you go.
Sure. And she finds out, oh, she's hated Luke this whole time when really it was Dierks. And so she turns to everybody in the room and she goes, guys, we hate Dierks now. And then it looks at Barney's face and he just goes, "Hurr." Like he's just like angry, like, "Hurr." Listeners can't see that, but audio or visual people can.
Like you just need supportive friends.
Yeah, that's what it gave me vibes of. Like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm on board.
Yeah. I don't like them either. Yeah, that's funny.
And that's all my favorite lines for that chapter. Moving
Yeah.
on now to our Transfigurations, differences that the movies made from the book. First one is that when Harry tells Cedric about the dragons, that takes place in the courtyard in the movie. It's that weird scene where Cedric is like, has his head in his bro's lap. It's like, who blocked this scene? I don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting.
But anyway, so that happens in the courtyard of the movie, whereas in the book, it happens in the castle on their way to Charms class. And then another one is that when they get their dragons, it's like Ludo Bagman's not a character in the movie. So Barty Crouch hands out the dragons to each one. And one of the lines that I always think of, I didn't include it. In every single season, I include quotes from the movie in my intros. And I didn't include it in this one, but it's definitely one of the ones that always comes to my mind. But when he goes, the Chinese fireball.
Chinese fireball.
Ooh.
I always say that too whenever it's like it plays on the movie. Yeah, it's so funny.
So he passes those out in the movie. We also get so all the Ludo stuff obviously is taken out. And Rita, she gets a picture of Harry and Hermione hugging each other before the task because Hermione goes to see Harry before the task takes place. And then Crumb tells her off, to get on out of there.
Yeah.
Then the big one that people will highlight is how the task goes down. So in the book, Harry stays in the enclosure. And it's really funny when you read the Harry Potter wiki, because sometimes I'll try to think of these and others I'll go, did I miss any? Let me go to the wiki. And in the wiki, it said they stayed in the enclosure due to the extreme safety measures that they had taken for this task. And I was like, what are they talking about? There was no safety measures. But in the movie, the dragon's chain breaks. They have a fun little cat and mouse game throughout the grounds of Hogwarts, flying around. And like we mentioned at one point, the dragon falls off the bridge, and you're like, what happened to the Horntail?
Yeah. It was just interesting because I was thinking about that too, and I was like, I wonder why they made that change. Was it because it's it would have been too hard to have all those extras stay in the enclosure if that whole scene was going to be filmed only in the enclosure? Or why did they make that change? But it's very interesting to know that, because then in the movie we think that it died, but then in the book it was just trying to protect the eggs. Yeah.
I think the only reason I could come up with is just to make it more hype, make it more exciting. Although it does the exact opposite for in-movie watchers.
Yeah.
So for the ones that were in the stands, they didn't get to see it at all. But, but because we have a magical camera that follows Harry around, we're like, this is awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is all the transfigurations we have. The rest are more so just omissions from the chapter. Moving on now to our golden snitches. And I have, listeners, you're going to be eating good. I have quite a few for you. So the first one is Defendo. And I was actually surprised, but this is the first time Defendo is mentioned in the books. So all the way at book 4. The severing charm, as it's also known, was used to precisely and accurately cut something. If used inappropriately, it could cause death or injury. That's not fun. Let's see. It was taught in first year, fourth year, and fifth year charms classes, but also in some herbology classes as well. I think they're getting this from like some of the video games, maybe perhaps some of the
Yeah.
tasks you have to do. The hand
That makes
movement for it.
sense.
Yeah, the hand movement for it. It looks almost like a W, but it's again, audio listeners not going to see this, but Monica will.
Yeah.
And you go down, up, and then a smaller down and up. So that's Defendo.
Cool. Yeah.
The light was light green, pink, or even red in some instances. It was created by Delphina Crimp in the 1400s. I just now know who's Delphina. I'm going to click on her name. Who are you? Oh, she got a fun little picture. I'll put that up on the Instagram this week for listeners. But yeah, she was a British witch who was one of the most popular dressmakers in London. She invented the severing charm in order to make the task of cutting cloth and thread magically easier. Oh, well, that's kind of cool. I like that. Yeah, actually served a purpose for her work. So moving along, there's a bit of the other thing I wanted to mention. The incantation is the Latin first-person active indicative for, so it's the Latin version for to split, cleave, or open. In the Harry Potter trading card game, the Defendo is incorrectly labeled as a transfiguration spell. And that's interesting. I've got a few of those inaccuracies in the trading card game. So whoever was behind that didn't know their stuff. But don't come for me, creator of the trading card game. If you ever want to come on the pod, you're welcome, of course. All right, and that's all we got for that one. Moving on to the next is we have a flutterby bush. So if you remember, Hermione was working at a flutterby bush in herbology. It was a magical plant that quivered and shook. It produced flowers once a century that adapted their scent to attract the unwary. The branches were harvested when the plant was in full bloom and used as potion ingredients. Mentions what year at Hogwarts you typically learn about this. Flutterby, she came up with the name for this because it was a childish way of saying butterfly. So like flip it around.
Interesting.
Yeah. Moving on to the next one. So we got the two items mentioned in Moody's office. So the faux glass was a type of dark detector. It looked like a mirror, but instead of a reflection, it showed the enemies of its possessor. The figures appeared as shadows, but became clearer and more visible as the enemies became closer to the possessor. They were seemingly difficult to construct and there's this guy named Sage Bragnum, a wizard from like Hogwarts, from Wizards Unite, if you remember that old game, needing a long lost schematic to properly build one for himself. Then there's a bunch of Hogwarts mystery and lore to do with it. But last one, secrecy sensor. A secrecy sensor was a type of dark detector. It was shaped like an aerial, but it was gold in color and very squiggly. It vibrated when it detected concealment lines. Some behind the scenes about it. When Harry first arrived in the British Ministry of Magic, the wizard at the security desk checked him over with a secrecy sensor before letting him into the ministry. And secrecy sensors appear vastly different in the Nintendo DS version of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Here, they are areas of light that move along the ground in set patterns, appearing similar in appearance to spotlights. And when Harry steps into one, it causes a number of wizards to apparate to his location. So that's about all we got there. So yay!
Hey.
All right. Now, last bit here, moving on to, that covers all the things for the main part of the episode. So now, before we finish up, listeners, just want to say, if you don't want any spoilers, get on out of here. All right. We've appreciated you being here for this week. Thank you so much. And Monica, thank you again for being on. If listeners want to find you, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram, Mischief by Monica, and on TikTok as well. So same username. Yay.
Fantastic. And next week, listeners, we will be joined by Wizarding House Common Rooms. They will be returning, Evelyn and her husband Peter, to cover the next 2 chapters. But Monica, let's move on to the restricted section. So every single book I have dubbed it, I've given it a nickname as well. You know, in book 1, it was the third floor corridor. Book 2, the Chamber of Secrets. Book 3, the Prison of Azkaban. This time around, I'm calling it also the Graveyard. So here we are at the grave. Spooky, I know. Chinese fireball.
Fireball.
All right, so I only have a few things to cover in the restricted section, not that much. But the first one, I wrote down chipmunk. And so I wrote down chipmunk because earlier in the first chapter we cover, at the beginning of it, one of the, I think Pansy Parkinson gets upset that Hermione is called beautiful in the article. And she says, what was she comparing her to? A chipmunk. And it's at this point, like Hermione's teeth have already they were magically enlarged and she had to go to the hospital wing to get it fixed. But at this point, nobody has noticed that when she had them shrunk back, she actually had them shrunk even more than normal. And that's something we learned in a later chapter because Harry goes, wait a minute, your teeth, they look different. And she's all like, hee, I did a thing. So I just thought that was funny. She's calling her like a chipmunk or comparing her to a chipmunk, but she's not even taking a good look at her to realize not anymore. All right. She don't got buck teeth no more. And then my next one was that Sirius was right whenever he was talking about Mad-Eye Moody being attacked the day before he goes to Hogwarts, saying like, listen, I know Mad-Eye has seen one too many like false intruders, but it doesn't mean he can't spot the real thing anymore. And I bet somebody attacked him because they didn't want him there at Hogwarts. And I was like, that's spot on. That was right on the money. And another thing he mentions too is he's like, I also don't think that Kakarot will go back to being a Death Eater unless he thinks like Voldemort will protect him. And he's absolutely right about that too. Because later when Voldemort does come back, Kakarot runs, like he flees. And my last note is I wrote down Ludo cheating. And so at that point, it's not explicitly said that that's what Ludo is doing or why he's doing it. But in later competitions and later tasks, he is like trying to give Harry extra help. He tries to give Harry help with the egg and the maze. But we learn that he's doing this because, you know, he's a gambling problem and he's placed all this money on Harry. And that's the reason why he's trying to help him over everybody else. But those were all my restricted section things. Did you have anything else, Monica?
No, I mean, you pretty much pointed out like the things that I would have thought of. I do also like how, with Sirius saying all those things, it's just kind of funny because it's like they're pretty much saying all of the truth without you really thinking about it. Like if you're a first time reader of the books. And when you think about it too with Ludo, it's kind of nice that it just also shows like Harry's integrity, that he's not gonna go into the or fall for the cheating. And it also shows too he's probably like, I'm already in a deep hole. I don't want to like add more onto me with like cheating or anything like that. Like people already hate me. I don't want
need
like,
to give him
deal
more
with
of a
any of that.
reason.
Exactly. So
It is funny you were mentioning like how much of the future events and the truths are spelled out for you if you don't know them already though. And that's what makes the rereads of this book so cool. I remember somebody pointed out to me the other day and I put like a reel up of it on Instagram, but like in some of the big ones people point out are the predictions in Trelawney's class or for Trelawney's class. Like there was one point where Harry literally predicts every single task where, you know, he says, on Monday, I'll be burned. Tuesday, I'll have something stolen from me. And Wednesday, I'll come off worse in a fight. And it's like, that's literally each of the three tasks. So everything laid out for you right there.
So cool.
So that's all we got, listeners. Thank you so much for being here this week. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to support this podcast, please do so by leaving us a comment or a review on your favorite podcasting app. Share it with the friends, and if you're Potter friends, all right, I think they would love this show, just in my humble opinion. All right. And, but yeah, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Oh, and don't forget, we do have a YouTube if you want to watch this and see both of our bright and beautiful faces. I may even include a little bit of my dog. All right. We had I don't know how much I included of it, but my dog was here earlier, listeners. But take care, listeners. Love you so much. Monica, thank you for being here. And goodbye, everybody.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Retold. Artwork for this podcast was created by Rachel Ortlip. Music was created by Taylor Jarvis. And the Retold podcast is produced by me. That's right. I made this.